This video is a little late. I kind of forgot about it and I just remembered it. But yeah, I am talking about what goes on in this video, the 23-minute mark. Also, I recommend watching the first 5 minutes to get an idea what's going on. But this just shows that Stefan sucks at philosophy. He's very bad at it. He's a pseudo-philosopher to the extreme, and he says things that only someone who's very new to the subject would say. For one, he does not understand the difference between psychological and ethical egoism. These two things are very different. Psychological egoism talks about what motivates us, and ethical egoism talks about what we should do. So, to build the groundwork, Stefan Molyneux has this theory called universally preferable behavior. If we say something's true, we prefer truth universally. So it's really a matter of trying to find universal principles, and then we universalize it. Well, 23 minutes in, anarchopac makes the argument, well, can't we universalize egoism? We can all follow the universal principle of egoism without contradiction. Now, Stefan can make arguments against this, but his arguments against it all, it completely goes over his head. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's completely ignorant of what anarchopac's getting at. Stefan literally says that it doesn't apply to his theory, and he shouldn't have to answer it for it, but he should, because it actually is a big attack that completely destroys this whole theory. But he doesn't understand why. He doesn't seem to understand why anarchopac brings it up. He comes up with these very strange, very irrelevant counters. Like, he says something like, well, we can't know what motivates people. Well, you see, that may affect psychological egoism, if we can't know it affects people, but that doesn't affect rational/ethical egoism at all. So saying that we can't know what motivates people, we can't know what's in people's heads, that's completely irrelevant. So irrelevant that to bring it up shows your complete ignorance on the topic. It's irrelevant because we're talking about a theoretical principle. It doesn't matter how it works out in practice. What matters is that this principle, that everyone should act in their own self-interest all the time, is universalizable. The very fact that it's universalizable is a big attack in your whole system, because you'd have to accept, well, we should accept this principle, everyone should act in their self-interest, because it is universalizable. And then you make another very extremely irrelevant claim. So irrelevant, it's like you said, oh yeah, anarchopac, you're wrong, because apple pie is good. That is how irrelevant your counters are to him, to his counter. You say something like, well, we cannot know what is in people's self-interest. People do not always act on what they think is their self-interest, they're not objectively able to act in their self-interest because they're not rational enough. None of that matters. It doesn't matter what actually is in their self-interest. It doesn't matter what exactly self-interest is. I mean, everything he says, all that matters is that here's a principle, self-interest, and it can be universalized. You do not touch that at all. You talk about all this other stuff that kind of has to do with the topic, while completely, you never actually touch on anarchopac's criticism at all. You never even touch it, because I don't think you see it. I'm serious. I don't think you see it at all. I don't think you understand what he was getting at, because you bring up, most of your argument is so irrelevant as to show that you don't understand that the argument is it seems like you're going to have to convince us why this principle shouldn't be done. Bringing up how it would be in practice is irrelevant. Bringing up how we can't figure out what's in people's self-interest is irrelevant, and all this other stuff. And then you talk about how, oh, you can never be immoral under ethical egoism because it's just talking about what you want. So like in this situation of, it'd be in my self-interest to buy this present, so I'm not going to. Or it'd be something like that. Well, then you really didn't want to buy the present. You don't know that. Now you're the one going and talking like you know what people want and not want. Acting as if you have this knowledge. And it doesn't matter what it is in practice. We're talking about principle here. So in principle, you can be immoral in egoism by simply not acting in what you view to be in your self-interest. So I see doing X as in my self-interest, so I don't do X. Countering with, oh, then you really didn't want to do X to begin with, is insane. That doesn't have anything to do with the principle. So yeah, this is why you should, you should all always be very wary of philosophic gurus, such as this guy. He's very Stuffbot's very guru-ish. And just as a side, extra little attack near the end, I find it very disturbing that people go to him for psychological help. They should go to professionals. I'm very disturbed by people who call in Stefbot crying with their very serious issues. They should not be going to some pop philosopher on the internet. They should be going to a professional. And he's a very... I like some of his politics, but he does way more harm than good. And I think I think all my subscribers should all start watching Stefbot videos and attack everything. For the same kind of reasons why I think Ron Paul needs to be taken down now. Ayn Rand's her followers right now they've done more harm than good, so they're on my enemy list as well. And so yeah. So this is like my 5th video about him not being good at philosophy. I'll try to do more the more they come out.